All right, everybody, welcome back to Top Tier Podcast. My name is Pale Ale Poppy.
Nick Hogan here.
Episode 57. Episode 57.
Should we start with Neuralink?
Let's start with Neuralink. So, for people who don't know, Elon Musk is a very successful entrepreneur. He has several companies.
Did you just say for people who don't know who Elon Musk is? You think there's people out there that don't know who Elon Musk is?
I just assume that people just don't know or are unaware. Let me.
It's possible. Who knows? We do have people that are watching this out of state, or I suppose.
So if you just don't have a TV, you don't have an internet, you don't have Twitter, Elon Musk is a very successful billionaire. I know most 99.9% of y'all understand who he is.
Yeah.
But SpaceX, Tesla, Twitter, but he also has Neuralink. That's one of the more low key ones that is essentially. They're developing brain-machine interfaces that are supposed to go on to help diseases like for paraplegics and mental health and schizophrenia and things like that. That's the ultimate goal. But I think to go beyond that is going to be where everyone has a chip in their brain and is supposed to increase our intelligence. It's supposed to replace
the cell phone, I would think.
Essentially, it's supposed to replace the cell phone and put it in your brain and enhance your intelligence. Where the way I've heard him speak about it, where it's like it's less bandwidth. It's lower bandwidth to have to take your phone and just type what's in your brain and translate it to the phone, but when it's connected, it's at the speed of your mind, essentially. So that's the ultimate goal, and for years they've been trying to get FDA approval. In recent years, apparently there was rumors from former Neuralink employees that monkeys were dying. They were testing the chips on monkeys, and that there were some early successes. I think he had a presentation where they showed 2 years ago where they showed a monkey being able to move a cursor on a screen. The rumors after that said that so many died. Yeah, so many died. And to get up to that point and beyond that it's just complete animal cruelty. But at the same time, people saying this don't consider how our meat gets on the table. You know what I mean? Like how our eggs get on the table, how our meat gets on the table, how our chicken nuggets get on the table. It's just mass. It's just mass slaughter. That's the way I look at it.
I thought it was pink goop. I was playing.
I thought it was pink, like in SpongeBob, where he was just making that goop.
No, remember I think it was fake, but remember maybe in 2016, 2015, there was this report that came out that was saying that the McDonald's chicken nuggets was pink goop. I
wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if it was just some mystery meat goop.
It's probably not. I hope not. But anyway.
So going back to the topic, how do you feel about the animal cruelty aspect? Do you think people should keep it consistent? Do you think it's just a sacrifice in the name of progress? What are your thoughts on testing, just in general, testing on animals for the sake of science progress, on rats?
For Neuralink, that's the point we're gonna get to, because it doesn't even matter anymore. They're not even testing on animals. I would think.
Yeah, we're moving into humans, but
they finally got clearance to do it on humans now. To test on humans.
With all these animals dying, I wouldn't go nowhere near that test. You're basically asking to die.
Well, I have my own conspiracy theory behind it, but I would assume that the only reason why it's cleared for human testing now is the fact that they were able to put it implanted into the monkeys and to the different types of animals, and it wasn't a problem. It wasn't lethal. Now, if you want to get into the conspiracy bag of it, because I do think that this is such a evolution of humanity, and this is the route we're going. We're going to become more endowed with technological features just in our own biology. So I would assume that Elon Musk, big business owner, he's like the Tony Stark of our of our reality. So everybody looks at Elon Musk and they think that his shit doesn't stink. They think he's a god amongst men in terms of technology. So I would assume that they're gonna let whatever he wants to do fly. If he wants to put people on Mars, he can go and do that. If he wants to put chips in people's brains, and people are gonna want it too, then they're gonna let him do that.
Right.
I think that whatever he wants to do, for the most part, they're just gonna let him do it.
Yeah, I agree, man, but I think it goes further into the aspect if it's 100% safe, why would you want to have someone to have that kind of control over your body? I mean, we're being monitored now. Big tech is selling your data now. Why would you want them to be able to Nick's body temperature was this today? Nick's his dopamine levels were this today.
The privacy aspect.
The privacy aspect of it.
As an individual.
As an individual, maybe if they get to the point where they're able to even interpret thoughts and memories.
I don't think people are thinking that far. I don't think people are thinking that far. Elon knows that at a certain point, people are just gonna different generations. As different generations begin to become born, he's probably not gonna see it, but we're going to be so, like I'm saying, we're going to be so endowed with technology just in our natural biology. We already carry the phones everywhere. You know, he's one of the biggest ones that have said that we're already kind of like cyborgs.
Yeah,
we carry
we're
the phone
already
everywhere.
like cyborgs. It's just gonna get smaller.
So by the time that, you know, everything, we know technology consistently gets smaller, the computers consistently get smaller. So by the time that it's so small, which they've reached, where it can be a chip and you can just get that shit implanted, people aren't going to think anything of it 100 years from now. So he's thinking long term. But for today, there's going to be a lot of pushback on this. This isn't going to just fly. This isn't just going to happen.
And the market of beast conversation as well. Every time anyone talks about Neuralink, it's always someone talking about market of beast. Like, we might get to a point where
they say that about everything.
They say that about everything. But like, I think this is probably this is probably the most valid one because it's in your brain. Imagine it's like you can't function in society, you can't do anything in society unless you have that shit. What if they were just
everybody? Because like, I don't even know if I believe any of that mark of the beast type shit. There's been so many different types of marks of the beast. People thought the internet was the fucking mark of the beast. People will say any type of new technology
CBDC
is the mark of the beast.
Is the new mark of the beast. That's the one that people are talking about. CBDC.
Yeah, like digital currencies and stuff like that.
There's no cash, so there's like they can do whatever. It's like, oh,
credit cards. They probably said credit cards.
Nick was criticizing this right wing politician who's in power. We're gonna just take his money. Oh, we're just gonna whitelist his. We're gonna just whitelist his crypto account so he can't buy anything. So he's just fucked. He's just homeless by default. Like it don't matter how rich you are.
And I don't know too much about the Bible, but I do. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you know. But wasn't the mark of the beast supposed to do something with finances? Like where it was like, if you don't get this mark of the beast, you won't be able to participate in the economy or something like that.
Like if you don't get the mark, you won't be able to participate in the economy. It pretty much just locks you out. You're just like fucked. You're like a homeless person. Like it's like social credit on steroids, where it's like if you don't have the mark and you're just kind of like you cannot participate in society. You're on the fringes. You almost can't eat. It's almost like you're just like relegated to like just being in the wilderness having to hunt because like you're completely locked out. If you don't have the mark, you can't do anything. You can't public trans. You can't use.
So that would make sense.
Yeah.
Before we, is your mic on?
Yeah, that's right. Oh shit.
It sounds more echoey than normal.
Oh shit. Fuck, man. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
This shit got disconnected somehow.
That's fine. We have a good roll.
Yeah, we can cut this out. I'm just gonna switch my mic over. It might restart the recording.
Okay.
I should have looked at it. Damn it. I might have to stop the recording for a second.
So yeah, so the mark is like, that's why people make comparisons to social credit. And I'm not super well versed in this. So when I'm talking about this, it's strictly from my American ignorant perspective. But from what people have talked about social credit in China, it's like if you're not doing certain things or they don't like what you're purchasing or you're playing too many video games or you're talking about the government, your social credit could get so low you can't make certain trips. You can't get on certain planes or certain high-speed rails. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's, in my mind, that's how I kind of see that.
I've heard people talking about that. I've heard people talking about that.
Where it's like a social credit on steroids. Like either you take this demonic mark that means you're with the devil, or you're just fucked. Like you can't do anything.
And at the end of the day, it's like, do we really believe the Bible? So it's, I don't know.
But remember, I don't necessarily believe the Bible, but I think the truth is stranger than fiction. So I don't necessarily believe the Bible is one-to-one real.
Say that one more time. That was a bar. Say that one more time because I didn't even catch it.
Well, I think the truth, and this is not my line. I've heard this from someone else. People say this, but the truth is stranger than fiction. And I think art imitates life as well. So now maybe the Bible is not one-to-one real. I don't believe that. But like people can definitely institute a regime that is as damn near basically the mark of the beast.
Yeah.
CBDCs and the way people explain them could very easily become mark of the beast.
That's true.
Like in the way that people explain it. It's like you talk about the government, you do something, you don't bow to absolute rule. Well, you can't participate in society now. Fuck you. Your address is blocked. This is the only way you can pay for things. Oh, well.
I don't think that I'm that scared about it for some reason, though. I do think that I'm not going to get it. Like, there's no need for me to get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not putting an Elon Musk chip in my brain. But if my kids got it, because that's the world that they came up in, or maybe my kids' got it because that's the world they came up in, I can understand why they would do it. It's the same reason why people probably, and I don't think there's that much pushback about cell phones or anything like that, but I'm sure there were certain people that were just like saying that shit was the mark of the beast. Don't get a cell phone. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't get a digital bank account. Whatever. People always have reasons, but I just think it's technology advancing. I think it's just human. And at the same time, that's an interesting point too. It's kind of like human evolution too. The fact that we just binding ourselves more and more to technological features.
Yeah,
that we're literally becoming cyborgs.
It's coming. I have no doubt that. I just hope that there's a balance. We get to a point where we can do both, because I think humans.
How do you mean do both?
I think humans, like, just as just how we treat each other, and how, like, there's a unhumanity. There's a lack of humanity with man's treatment of man. There's a coldness when it comes to man's treatment of man. All this technology advances, but we're still very much in the 1800s in terms of mindset. It's just the technology has advanced.
Yeah, I do feel like
people have not grown up
into hairs. Like,
yeah,
I think you're gonna have one section, and we watch sci-fi a lot, and we see this in the movies and stuff. Like you were saying, art, or what did you say? Reality imitates.
Or I said art imitates life, and the truth is strange.
Yeah, art imitates life.
So,
but in the movies and stuff, like, there's always like a sect of human that's just biological humans, but then there's this other sect that's like the cyborgs. They got the robotic limbs, they got the chip implants and shit like that.
There's definitely gonna be breakaway civilizations.
Actually, in reality,
yeah.
I could see
there's definitely gonna be breakaway civilizations, because they're gonna There's even now in America might break away and become two different nations, because people are just not getting, even on a global scale, people are just not getting along. People are still fighting over such petty nonsense, religion and race and all this stuff. And it's like, dude, like, humanity, we could be so much further ahead. We could move into a whole different era. There's so many things that we can move into that people are just not going to. And if the tech keeps advancing, people are going to weaponize it. Because I saw someone said, we're getting into real tinfoilery. Tin hattery
on every single time. Every single episode.
But one of my favorite conspiracy theories is that they've been hiding, UFO tech, which are powered by systems that literally could transform the world, where there's no more fossil fuels. Energy is damn near free. The only thing we would pay for is probably the maintenance of these systems. Can you imagine? But then if you think about it, because we haven't advanced, someone may figure out how to weaponize that.
Of course they will.
That's what I'm saying.
Weaponize everything.
Unlimited.
They weaponize words, dude.
Exactly. Words are weapons. Yeah. The power of the pen, like, all these things going. So imagine, like, maybe we're just not ready. There's probably so much tech that we have.
We're not ready as a society.
I understand
it's going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
There's money to be made. We talk about that all the time.
But they're going to lose money. But there's also another reason why they would keep that tech, is like, why you can't put a meter on it. You can put a meter. We have gas meters. Gas you use in your house, and electricity, the water, the gas you put in your car. I was still talking about Neuralink. My bad.
Oh yeah, but yeah, going back to Neuralink. If they were to introduce the 0-point tech, obviously they would lose too much money. Yeah. So that's why they're not going to show it. That the biggest bar that I've heard someone say, I forget who said it, but they said, I forget what they said. It was like treatment. It's like there's more money in the treatment.
There's more money in the treatment than like a one pill cure or one shot cure.
Exactly.
One little. Because there's a rumor. We're not going to go deep into that. The same people who have the 0-point tech, they also have tech to cure cancer.
The conspiracy bag in this one,
and that they're just hiding it, because, like, why would you have a machine that just goes, your cancer is gone, and it's like a one-time fee versus we're going to just sell him pills until he slowly dies.
Right. Exactly.
Come on, like, that's ultimate. That's drug dealing. That's drug dealing. But let's go back to Neuralink. But when I think about Neuralink, I think that's another way to make slaves, because, like, we were just talking about how you could get to a point like with the cell phone. What are you going to do without this? And I've heard there's a trend going on where people are going back to flip phones. They're called dumb phones. It's like a new Gen Z millennial trend where people who feel like they're addicted to their cell phones, they're going back to dumb phones so they don't feel tempted. But I feel like there's a lot
without screens.
Without screens, like flip phones, like this, like early 2000s type phone, and they still make those phones. They still make modern versions of those phones. They don't have any smartphone functionality, but you can still get one that was manufactured recently. But people get them because they don't want that tech addiction. But I'm like, there's so much you can't do without this.
I think it's bigger than that.
You go to a restaurant.
I think it's because they have their own individual problems with anxiety and depression and stuff like that.
And that's true.
Which is just get off social media.
It's really just get off, but that's easier said than done, man.
No, it's not.
I think so.
Are people addicted to social media?
I'm addicted to social media. I'm addicted to reading comments. I go into comments.
Addicted to social media? I don't even think about it.
I go into comments and look for the racists. I look for somebody. I just look for them. I just
go.
I go in the most
about it,
because I just like. It's almost like I refuse to accept people are this evil. And it just like I just gotta look. I just like
you gotta
I have to look.
it.
I gotta see it. I'm like, just not like. How are you like? I couldn't imagine like going into your brain and just seeing how it works, like how fucked up and twisted it is. It's incomprehensible to me. Yet people act like that's just that's how you should be. You should be an anti-black. You should be
I just
a racist.
feel like it's dangerous, bro. That's like a different level of what's it called? Masochism?
Yeah. It's definitely very poor from mental health.
What's the word?
It's like masochism. Masochist. Like you just, I'm deliberately, it's almost like I'm seeking out the pain on my mind and my mental health. Yeah.
It is. But I think that's what I think social media is set up for that. It's literally set up for that. I don't know anybody who spends like hours and hours on social media. It doesn't, when they remove themselves from that, feel like a little bit lighter. Social media is heavy because it's just like, and it's so open to anyone to just be on there, just spreading negativity, and that's what it's normally used for. And people love that. It's just negativity and toxicity.
They take, like, you know how people, sometimes they come home and take it out on their family, take it out on their wife. I think a lot of people who comment, because most people don't even comment. I usually don't comment. They just get on there and just like, I'm going to fuck with somebody today. I was bullied at work. I'm going to just be a racist troll. I was bullied at school. I'm going to just get on there and, exactly, they just project. I'm going to get on there and just run my goddamn mouth. Harass people, send death threats. Fuck it. Like, whatever. Why not?
And that's why, like, that's when people talk about like that censorship shit, I'm kind of like I see both sides of it. Do you know what I'm referring to when people are talking, like Elon Musk, when he takes over Twitter, is like, oh, we're basically just going to fire everybody and make sure that it's not censored. Right. But I kind of think that censorship needs to be in place. There's no reason why you should be able to have a platform. Imagine if Twitter was a physical space and you can just go to some fucking, if it was a mall or something, and you can just go to a mall and just start spewing all these,
and just see neo-Nazis walking around talking about death to all niggers, and you just walking around there like, we can't kick him out because we can't censor him,
right?
You know, but like countries like Germany have a different rule where it's like, you show up on a Nazi flag, you going to jail. They don't play that hate speech stuff. They don't play that Nazi stuff there
because it's like eliminate the toxicity, and it's deeper than toxicity, but just for lack of a better word, like eliminate that.
Like, imagine if the Confederate flag and a word and a non-black person saying the N-word with an ER would go to jail. Imagine you went to jail for 5 years. Shit would change quick. And qualified immunity ended for college. Or if you went to jail, Japan, which is a great segue. Segue. But yeah, in Japan, there's a law in the books where if you spoil video games or you post leaked footage of video games early, you can go to jail for that. And there was a 52-year-old man in Japan. He posted a spoilers for this new game for this anime called Steins Gate. They released a re-release of a 2011 visual novel for it, and I guess it had some extra content. And he posted in-game spoilers of the visual novel and charged people to see it. And they were just like, well, I don't know how the laws work. I don't know if they have fair use laws, but they were just like, so let's look on the list. We had this law in the books. We never arrested anybody for it. Maybe the company was like, called the police and was like, hey, can you tell this guy to take this shit down?
This guy off the streets.
We'll pay you some money. And it's like, all right, we got it on the books. He's the first guy. Let's arrest him. And the headlines everywhere.
He was the first one?
He was the first one to be arrested for that law.
To get arrested for
posting video game spoilers. But it was mainly because he was monetizing the spoilers as well. He had it.
So it's the monetization part. Because when I first saw this, I was like, wait, if you just say a spoiler alert without spoiler, quote unquote, spoiler alerting it, you could just go to jail. That doesn't make any sense.
That's what I'm saying, and that's probably why no one has been arrested. Because for a lot of Japanese games, the spoilers get posted early. Spoilers get posted like when Breath of the Tears of the Kingdom, dudes had the game 2 weeks before.
What if it's an accident? You're just gonna come send their version of the FBI, just bang down my door, the feds come and arrest me? What is that?
I don't know, man. Imagine we had that law in America. People be weaponizing
that's
that.
what I was thinking.
People be weaponizing
it has to be
that.
Deeper. It has to be the monetization.
It has to be the monetization. It is probably just like the company was like, well, we really can't get him for posting the spoilers, but because he monetized it, we could. Because they probably are not going to waste their time arresting somebody for it. It's a stupid law.
But even the monetization aspect of it, because we do that. We play music on this podcast.
Exactly.
We don't pay for that shit.
Exactly.
You could say it's fair use, but it's not like we're giving a critical analysis of it or anything like that. If we were in Japan, are we getting arrested for that? It has to be deeper than even like the monetization.
It has to be deeper. But I think
He's probably like a
copyright
serial
laws
criminal.
are like really, they don't play in Japan. Like dudes post, like there used to have a lot of dudes who would post a lot of manga illegally in Japan. I think a few years ago, they got them dudes out. They raided those dudes like in a weekend. And like manga sites were like getting shut down left and right. And that was around the time they were changing laws, I think.
Even like you said though, like they had him on the books. He had a rap sheet. So it has to be like maybe if you have like a serial, you're a repeat offender.
They got a way
maybe
to just
they've talked to you before or something like that. Yeah.
Because some laws on the books,
type of list.
I think some laws on the books are like they can't necessarily put something else, a certain what they want to get you for. Because the problem probably was he was just posting footage and monetizing it. That may have not been what broke the law. But because there is a law in the books where you can't post video game spoilers, the company probably was able to persuade the police to go get him. He still got, they wanted him arrested. They couldn't get arrested for what they wanted, but that law conveniently worked where it's like, all right, we can put the fear of God in him. Because he technically did break a law. So we can go get in his ass.
Technically, yeah.
I'm sure that's probably what happened.
How long did he go to prison? How long is he going to be in prison?
This is recent,
for?
so I don't think there has been a full conviction. This is like very recent. But I mean, I'm gonna look it up right now. What would a jail sentence be for?
Is it jail or prison? When do you go to jail and when do you go to prison?
Remember,
is it based off of like a state or a federal? Because I'm not good at law. I know nothing.
Nah, I haven't seen anything. I can't find anything. That's what I'm saying. This is probably fine. I've heard of this before, like years ago, but this is probably a very obscure law. This is probably a very obscure law because, like, there's like America has some strange laws in the books. Like if you like deface the flag, I'm pretty sure that's a crime.
Yeah.
If you put the flag in anything other than proudly on a flag, if you put it on clothing, yet you go to the store, I promise you can find I don't know how many. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not going to enforce it. It's like they'll say it, but if they really wanted to, like if you're a black guy and you were fucking with a flag and it was like, oh, we got to get this Negro, and they somehow see you were stepping on wiping your ass with an American flag, they will take you in because they can.
That reminds me of, bro, when I was a kid. The first time I heard about that law was when I was a kid. We were in the Dollar Tree.
Yeah. Me
and one of my cousins, and they have American flags in every single fucking store. But we grabbed the flag, tossed it on the floor. Her mom, my aunt, was like, "How dare you?
Oh my God.
You can't do that. That is against the law." And I was like, "What? It is against the law to throw a flag on the floor?" And she was like, "Yes." Never did that again.
Oh my God.
But technically, yes, somebody in there who's trying to be like a good Samaritan, some Jordan Neely type shit, could be like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna make a citizen's arrest.
That was a crime, and you threatened the sanctity of this nation."
Is that even a real thing? Like, is that real? Citizen's arrest?
I'm pretty sure that's a real thing. I don't remember. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know much about law, but people do.
Dude, I don't know shit. About law.
I've seen people do it before. I've seen people on video. Guy just openly breaking the law.
Make a citizen's arrest,
or like if someone was like mass
handcuffs
shooting
and shit.
I don't think handcuffs.
Oh, is it turning in somebody? It's not necessarily.
No,
like an
it's
arrest.
like you literally
like a bounty hunter type shit.
No, it's literally like if a guy, like imagine a guy is shooting up a mall, and you somehow were able to got behind him and got him at gunpoint. It's like, get on the ground or I'll put you down. And the guy was just like, fuck it, I got enough people. And he just put his gun on the ground. He put his hands behind his head. You could hold him there until the cops get there. That's what I understand a citizen's arrest is. It's like, it's kind of like you step in until the law gets there and you detain a criminal.
I thought it was like bounty hunting where like I'm going to actually like apprehend this guy and like bring him into the police.
Like Jordan, I'm sure that
Redemption.
Daniel Penny, the white supremacist suspected white supremacist weirdo. I said suspected dude who choked Jordan Neely. I'm sure he thought he was doing a citizen's arrest when he was murdering that man. So I think it's very loose. I think it's dangerous even to give citizens agency. I think if it's not they're not directly trying to kill you, is that really your authority to do a citizen's arrest?
Apparently so. I don't know. I was watching this movie called My Cousin Vinny, and I know it's just fiction or whatever, but in the movie, the person, they got arrested. It was like a wrongful conviction, a wrongful arrest, I mean, but they got arrested for murdering somebody. The person that murdered the dude got arrested, but the person who was a quote-unquote accessory to the crime also got arrested for the same type of crime. So it could be something like that. Where, and I forget where I was even going with this. What were you saying?
I was just talking about like, is it really like what I'm saying is like if you're in a situation, where there's a shooter and you can run. Are you
Right,
gonna?
right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I misunderstood.
But like, I'm not
'cause I
saying
was
like if
thinking,
you want to be a hero,
if you
go
see
be a
the
hero.
person do
right?
the crime and you
Right.
don't do anything,
Yeah.
then technically I was thinking you could be an
Yeah.
accessory or whatever
Right.
the verbiage would be.
It's a slippery
I
slope.
misunderstood.
Because there are plenty of people who want to just be rowdy and just get into violence and will claim that they were trying to be a hero and it's a citizen's arrest, versus people who legitimately feel like they have the agency and training and whatever to save a lot of lives. They're just not law enforcement. I just feel like it's a slippery slope is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I understand that. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. What's our next topic? What do we want to talk about next?
I really want to segue into this video that's been making the rounds. I've seen it. So many major people have posted this where there was a lady, and you can play the clip. She was going on levels of delusion I've never seen on social media about like what a man should do, what a man should be doing. It just made me laugh. I was just it's like extreme, like to like a 10% level. Yeah, a man should be working, a man should be providing, man should be hustling, but you're not getting a slave. But you're gonna see what I'm talking about when we play the clip. I'm not gonna slave for you though.
Not gonna work my hands to the bones to provide. I'm not gonna work 16 to 20 hours a day or a week to provide for my family. You're the man.
A week?
You can't even work part-time?
Go get a job. Get 3 jobs. My man has 2 jobs. Go get 7 jobs
She
and
hit a
2
Rochelle.
side hustles to buy me the things that I want because I'm a woman. Man should always
What
make a
the
way.
fuck?
Because I'm like, I swear to God, lately I've been seeing people talking like her, where it's like, your money is mine and my money is mine. Like, and I'm not gonna work either.
You have the penis.
She said, I'm not gonna work 15 to 20 hours a week. So you
A
can't,
week, bro.
you can't work 4 or 5 hours a week. Sorry, 4 or 5 hours a day. You can't 4 hours a day. What is that? 4 times? That's 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
You can't work 4 hours a day.
I think that we're in such a weird, I say it every single time we bring up these relationship topics. We're in such a weird place when it comes to the straight heterosexual relationship dynamic between men and women. Because men are doing their own craziness with this whole alpha male type shit. It seems like every single time one of these Kevin Samuels or Andrew Tate dudes comes, the rise and the fall, there's always somebody to replace it.
Yeah. There's always something.
But the women, I feel like the women don't get enough, I don't know if I want to say credit, but they don't get enough backlash for having their own little circles.
They have their own little like circles of like headassery and weirdness.
Yeah.
Because in the manosphere, I don't agree with them because they take it too far and they go into this craziness. But they're responding to people like her.
No, they're not.
I don't
so. I don't think that they're having a dialogue. I don't think
they're
so.
not having a dialogue, but the way they talk, they assume that every woman is like the lady we just heard. It's from what I hear.
You think so? Because I don't think so.
That's what I've heard. They assume that they project that on everybody to excuse their misogyny when not everybody is like that woman that was speaking.
That's interesting. That's
all I'm saying. It's kind of like how they look at Chicago and they'll say that's an excuse. We can kill all blacks, or like, you know, like what they used to do in the early 1900s, where it's like they'll make up a story about how someone said they was going to rape a white woman, so they go burn the whole town down. The Manosphere does that, where it's like they'll get one example and it's like, well, all women did, all women.
Right.
Exactly. They use it to just paint a picture, but I feel like these are just two extremes. These are two sides of the same coin, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And I don't really hear that, man. It's kind of weird. Like, why do you think it is that we don't see like the women talking like so crazy like this? Because there's people out here that are having these types of podcasts all the fucking time, all fucking day. But we don't really, the ones I see floating on Twitter and Instagram is the fucking Andrew Tates and the Fresh and Fritz.
They probably just don't care. Probably it's like, that doesn't apply to me. Or maybe they don't want to go against the herd. Maybe they have a lot of friends who are like that, and it's like, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. I feel like that's probably like maybe the mentality of a lot of women, whereas men are more.
Yeah, women are probably just smarter.
Yeah.
They're not going to just buy into the bullshit, into the dogma just because somebody is speaking all loud and shit.
Yeah.
Men are hurting, bro. Like, that's so sucky, bro. Men suck, dude.
But back to the lady, like when she was like,
yeah,
you need to work 2-3 jobs, have 2 side hustles to pay for the things that I want while I sit and do nothing. It's like, well, when is the man going to have time to spend with you? So
Good
basically
point.
what you're saying is you have a slave that's going to slave for you while you get with your side nigga. So basically you just have a dude just working the job you should be working.
Yeah, she just doesn't want to work.
And giving you his salary while you fuck somebody else.
It sounds like she doesn't want a relationship.
That's really sick and disturbing.
She said she had a man, though. She hit the Rochelle. Remember from Everybody Hates Chris? My man has 2 jobs. She hit the Rochelle. If she has a man, I wonder what he should come on the podcast. What podcast was that?
Dude, I have no idea. I've been trying to find more information on it. I was looking in comment sections when people posted it, and they have not shared any information on what podcast.
Probably ripped that shit off the internet. She got tore up. They be tearing these podcasts.
No, they get in their asses, bro. To the point where they chase people off social media. I see it all the time.
I think so. Some people have a hard fucking thick skin, bro.
I couldn't imagine.
They tear up some of these fresh and fit type niggas up all day.
Nah, I hate the fresh and fit dudes. They're like some of the
They're
biggest,
probably making too much
they're
money.
They're like the most delusional coons you can imagine. They probably are. Yeah. They're like the most delusional, weird coons. They say crazy stuff about the black community, but their homeland looks like Baghdad on steroids. I don't want to hear it. We're not going to get too deep into fresh and fit. These Mansfield dudes are clowns. I think the red pill is dead. To me, the red pill is dead.
You think it's dead?
I don't think it's dead in the sense that it's like people are not tuning in, but I think they're becoming more and more of a joke. Like most of the figures you see in the red pill, they're not doing anything of what they're talking about. It's like, you got to be a high value man. You got to do this. You got to go out and get this. You got to do this. These guys don't do this. They just go on the mic and babble and talk bullshit.
Preaching to the choir.
Yeah, I told you about, because there's money in that. They know they can sell money to incels doing that. Like there's this guy who was like, I told you, he was like some white guy. He didn't look like no type of high value man. He just looked like some regular Joe Schmo dude off the street. And he went on Fresh and Fit recently. And we talked about this last week to talk about how it's like, he posted this list about how like, you got to get a vasectomy in your 20s. You can't have any relationships, only one night stands. You gotta lift, which, yeah, you should be lifting. Like working out, of course, that's important. But like, like people are like, well, why do you think they just brought him on there? And it's like, well, why does getting a vasectomy in your 20s make you an alpha male? He's like, well, studies show. So that means you theoretically haven't done it. Well, I'm a man of science. I look at research. You're not a high value man though. You just regurgitating bullshit you found online. Oh, that's different. Well, I mean, they just got in his ass. But these dudes don't know what they're talking about. They're just babbling.
These red pillish guys are having a Game of Thrones, bro. I'm telling you. That's why when you said the red pill you think is dead, I don't think it'll ever die.
Because Andrew Tate seems like he's kind of moving away from that because it's kind of embarrassing.
Well, he got arrested.
But he's back
so
now.
His credibility got taken.
Yeah.
But there's going to be somebody new. Trust and believe. It seems like this is a cycle. It seems like there's just an ebb and flow. Somebody comes and they take the mantle, they take the throne, and everybody's just putting all their attention on them. Then they get whatever happens to them. They're no longer in the fucking limelight anymore. And then some other person comes up. I think it's just going to continue. That's what I'm saying. You have to give it to the women that they don't even buy into this shit, because these red pillish niggas, man, they would really have you think that some of these women are just like crazy.
Yeah, and they bring these women on and just talk shit about them, mistreat them.
But men are believing it.
I just don't get it.
Men are believing it.
I just don't get it. I just don't understand. Like, because don't get me wrong, they're definitely going to be like that later we play. There's definitely going to be them out there. But they ain't going to keep a man. Like, just keeping it real.
Exist. That lady doesn't exist.
She's probably just talking for the cameras.
Yeah, that's for the podcast.
Yeah. And if she does exist, you're not going to get no man talking about, if you don't have 2 or 3 jobs and you serve me, niggas going to be like, okay, bye.
She said most 2 jobs and 2
99.9% of men are just going to be like, you cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, I'm out.
But at the same time, it does seem kind of like people don't want to be in long-term relationships that lead to marriage. So it kind of, maybe people aren't believing the dogma, but at the same time, people kind of are, in a way, siding with some of those, not siding with like the ideologies or anything like that, but some of those residual effects. If you're an alpha male type red pillish dude, you're not going to fucking get married to anybody. Unless they're like some slave woman, tries to fit in the box or whatever.
If you're alpha, your options are so vast.
And the opposite.
You can just basically have a different woman every week.
But it's kind of already working like that anyway. Like our generation is not getting married like that. Millennials are not getting married like that.
Marriage just seems disadvantageous. Like, imagine working your whole life for something and then you get divorced and they get half. I think I'm good on that.
Maybe people are just fearful.
I'm fearful of that. That's one of the reasons I don't get married, because I don't want to. If it doesn't work out, we should be able to just go our separate ways. That's why you should
set it up like that.
That's why you should marry. Well, I mean, sometimes
business agreement.
Prenubs get ripped up. I'm not well versed on why they do, but a lot of times they say a lot of prenubs don't save you. You bring that they'll laugh you out of court. Fuck you talking about a prenup? That stuff gets ripped up.
Set up your trust in a certain way.
Yeah, like they say Future, even though he's not getting married, this is more child support, but they say Future, at least a few years ago, he had all his assets in his sister's name. So when they came after him, he's like, I'm broke.
Yeah.
And he just asked his sister, whatever he needs to do, he just says, can you just go get this?
You know he's not the only one that does that.
Yeah, a lot of them probably do. You have to really trust your sister that she's not spending your money. He must really trust her. a lot of the basketball players, they get into or football players. I don't remember. I think it was a basketball player, but it's like he gave his family like an emergency black card. It's like spend it when you need it. A year later, he checked. They ran that shit up over $1 million.
Of course.
I mean, that's evil, bro.
That is pretty evil.
That's evil, but you can't even trust family like that. So I mean, but you know, moving into basketball, we got some sports figure talks.
Yeah, you want to talk Scottie Pippen?
I want to talk Scottie Pippen. I'm gonna let you more versed in the basketball realm, so I'm gonna let you intro this one.
Oh, I mean, there's not much of an intro. The nigga just said that Michael Jordan was a horrible player. That's what got picked up. I mean, the entire quote, he aforementioned that LeBron James was gonna go down as the best statistical player of all time in the league. I thought that would have been the conversation, but you know what shows you that LeBron isn't the GOAT is that even when he was mentioned in a quote featuring Scottie Pippen, even when he was mentioned with Michael Jordan, people still were talking about Michael Jordan. They weren't talking about LeBron. That's how you just know he's not the GOAT.
So prime Bulls versus prime Cavs. Who was winning that game?
Prime Bulls versus prime Cavs?
And we know prime Bulls is going to be Michael Jordan's going to be on the prime Bulls.
I mean, sure, Michael Jordan. I don't know. I don't do those team debate things like when people were like, who's gonna win the 73 win Warriors or the 97 Bulls.
Could you imagine that in the future where AI just like they feed all the LeBron games into AI. They feed all the Jordan games into AI, and they do like a real recreation of like who would actually win that.
They do have that. It's called 2K.
It's not the same. We're talking about highly advanced AI. We're talking about like a couple of decades from now where the AI is able to like.
What's the difference?
This 2K is just like somebody's opinion, some programmer's opinion, some programmer's numbers. I'm talking like an AI doing a simulation using all.
The only thing that's based off opinion is the ratings.
I mean, I don't know. I was thinking because that's why I got quiet for a second because I don't know about 2K. I just know there's ratings, there's animations. But what does that mean to me versus an actual AI doing it, crunching numbers, doing the simulation?
It is AI.
And running this footage is what I'm trying to say.
It is AI. It's the same thing, isn't it?
It's even if it's AI, it's nothing compared to I'm talking decades from now where it's like they can like recreate it almost like it's like you go in there and you like watching the game for real and it's like legit. Like, you know what I mean? Like
it's still going to be the same output though. It's just computer inputs and outputs.
And that's true.
Isn't it? Am I missing something?
I just think 2K is not taking into account all of the data. Is what I'm trying to say. I'm talking like
I don't think
thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours. Like it's all recorded. Imagine taking every game Jordan played in, every game LeBron played in, and analyzes them down to the T of what they were doing.
You're saying 2K
what
is
they were
fake?
capable.
2K is fraudulent?
2K is fraudulent. It's just some programmer's opinion of how good somebody is. I'm sure there have been players who have been pretty solid, but they weren't popular enough to get animations in 2K. So they just play like a standard person, like they're garbage. Like that's
Possibly,
not accurate
yeah.
at all. That's not accurate. And
They
then the
probably
next
don't have
year,
enough data.
that's what I'm saying. They're not accurate at
They're
all.
putting in the actual data. Like it's not like they're just out here. Like if you're not going to give Kobe Bryant like a 73 in the mid-range jumper. You know what I mean? You're going to go based off of, and you can set it up. Like it's all analytics. You can set it up to where it's true shooting percentage. So if Kobe Bryant literally shoots 47% from mid-range, then when you play 2K with Kobe Bryant, he's going to make 47% of the shots.
I didn't know it was that deep. Okay.
Yeah. It's AI.
That's a little different. All right. So who's winning? You don't think LeBron could beat him in a game?
You want to have the LeBron GOAT conversation? Is that what you're trying to get me into?
Because how is he? Scottie
Pippen said that
Scottie Pippen said that LeBron was a better player. even especially in his earlier days.
Yeah, he said that he was the statistical, because it's weird because he wasn't saying this years ago, but he said that he's going to go down as the statistically the best NBA player ever, which is probably true. Like statistically, he probably will. He doesn't have every single thing in his repertoire, but his resume is going to look really good. But I'm not doing a GOAT debate.
You don't got the
today.
rings.
Yeah,
finals record is looking like a butt whooping, a spanking, but.
Yeah, he got swept. He got swept this year.
The Nuggets were that good? Damn.
The Nuggets probably going to win the championship. Yeah.
Who's on the Nuggets?
Probably. Huh?
Who's the top 5 on the Nuggets right now?
Top 5? Well, they have a guy named Nikola Jokic, who's the best player in the league right now.
Really?
Yes.
So he's going. That's how young is he? Is he like one of them?
It's probably like 27, 28.
Pass the torch.
Pretty young.
He's not. Yeah. Yeah.
He's pretty young.
We forget
Most
LeBron
players
is like
win
37,
championships
right?
around that
Yeah.
age. Like,
what about Klay Thompson? I sent you a meme.
What about him?
I don't know if you looked at that meme I sent you. It was like Klay Thompson flexing his rings, realizing he still has to play, and it was like Squidward, like tonight.
he has 4 of them though.
Like-
He has 4 of them. So
Is he
LeBron only
trash?
has 5. Klay Thompson is not trash. No,
Oh,
he's
I
going to be
didn't-
a Hall of Famer.
I didn't know LeBron had 5. How much does Jordan have? 6.
6. Yeah.
That's why they always clown him, because he just cannot get that 6th ring.
Wait, does LeBron have 5? Yeah.
I don't think he
I think
does.
he has 4. I think he has 4.
Damn,
Let
that's
me
even
think.
worse.
Let me think. He has 2 on the Miami Heat. He has 1. He has 4, and he has 1 with the Lakers.
Damn.
I put an extra ring on LeBron's hand.
Imagine he won like a couple more finals. He will be undisputed.
He won't. He won't.
Not now, but some of the ones he lost the last couple of years, he won those. There'd be no question. There'd be no
if
question.
He had 6,
if he got to like 7,
6.
if he got to 7, he'd be undisputed. They wouldn't even talk about Jordan anymore. I mean, they would still talk about Jordan, but like Jordan would be relegated to history. LeBron would be like the new Jordan for the next couple of decades until there's another.
I think
person
the reason
coming
why
along.
people put Jordan on that plateau is because not only does he have 6 championships, but he also made the game so global. That he was a culture shift. Michael Jordan was a cultural like icon. LeBron isn't even as famous as like Ronaldo or Messi. Like he's not a global. He's global. Don't get me wrong, but he's not on this
Kobe
level
was
of just
global.
like. Kobe was global too.
Yeah.
But Kobe's not a top. Don't kill me, bro. Kobe's not a top 5 guy either. I don't think Kobe's a top 5 guy.
Wow, that's a hot take. I've
don't think so.
always thought top 5 was like Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, maybe what's that dude's name? I saw him in an elevator.
Kareem?
One time. Kareem, yeah. I saw him. I've seen him in real life before.
Yeah, I think I try to mix it up. I try to make it versatile where I put people that are from the earlier times of the NBA who had a lot of dominance. Like my list, my top 10 list and top 5s or whatever is always based off of dominance. I add some skill into that as well, because that's the only reason why I have LeBron at number 2 or number 3.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why I would put LeBron at number 2 or number 3, is sometimes I fluctuate it, is because of the level of skill that he has. He's an all-around player, and he can play on any team. He can play with any person. Obviously, he thrives with certain types of players, but he can play with anybody, any team. He's won with 3 separate teams, 3 separate franchises, excuse me. He's been to 10 finals. That's
10
a lot.
finals alone is like legendary. It's just
That's a
tainted
lot.
by he didn't win a lot of them, but
And that's the reason why he's not
Yeah.
number 1. It's because he hasn't even won half.
yeah.
Maybe if he won half of
But
them, I'd
just
be like,
getting there, I mean, to just being the most consistent person to get there, I'd say is like an accomplishment. But it's hard because you got second though. Like you didn't get first. You didn't win
were
the
the second
tournament.
best.
You didn't win the tournament.
What do they
you
say
got
about Gen
second.
Z? Like we're soft because we get participation
Participation
trophies.
trophies.
That's
But-
why
no,
our
but
generation thinks LeBron is the GOAT, because we give him a participation
participation
trophy.
trophy is like you lost the first round of the finals. I think the first
You
round.
lost.
Sorry, not the finals. The first round of the playoffs. You lost. You got knocked out.
But you lose.
He
If
gets
you
to the
lose, you
finals,
lose.
so he got second.
Yeah,
he got the
I guess
ribbon.
but that's still participation. That's still
Yeah.
participation. Oh, you made it. You didn't win, but you made it.
Or you wouldn't even get participation if you didn't make the playoffs. You just like barely missed the playoffs. Then or everybody who didn't make the playoffs gets participation trophies. I think.
Dude, he was really trying to make it seem like he was about to retire.
Yeah, I saw that post where he was like, maybe we don't know. or something. He said something like that, right? Or he was
has to ponder on it or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't know his words verbatim.
He's definitely getting tired, man. The man's almost 40. He probably wants to live with his $1 billion and just invest and chill with his family and watch Bronny come up, train Bronny. I would want to, at his age, I'd be like, now it's time to train my son. Get him ready to go to
Miyagi the shit.
Yeah, it's time to Miyagi. He could probably, I think it would be really cool if LeBron had like an elite travel team and he was like a coach. And he was like, I know Bronny's
LeBron ain't doing that. I don't think LeBron is coaching.
Or at least elite basketball camp or something like that. He charges.
I highly doubt it. I highly. He doesn't seem like the mind. He doesn't seem like the mind. Also, people who are coaches, they should bring back player coaches because I'd love to see LeBron as a player coach. Yeah. He already basically is a coach on his team. But there's certain types of basketball minds who can go into coaching and it makes sense. Most of the time they're point guards. LeBron is a point guard. It would make sense. He has the IQ to do it. I'm not saying he doesn't have the IQ to do it, but he doesn't seem like he has the personality. Like Kobe was a high IQ basketball player. Could you ever see him coaching in the NBA? He coached. I think he coached his daughter.
He coached his daughter's team, but he could. I feel like he'd be an asshole, but I think he could. Honestly,
I kind of like an asshole coach as long as they're not disrespectful.
Yeah. It's probably gonna be. I'm okay if you're an asshole if I'm bullshitting and you calling me out. That's one thing. But if you're just being a dick to be a dick, that's a whole other thing. If you see someone squandering potential, yeah. But let's move into Shannon. Speaking of sports figures and commentators and entertainers in the sports arena, Shannon Sharpe got robbed a few days ago. I think he got robbed on the 20th.
Robbed of $1 million worth of jewelry, watches,
$1 million worth of jewelry, watches, bags.
You know he'd be showing up flossing.
My first question is, why do you have $1 million worth of anything in your house? You just
that is a good question.
For it. If you got $1 million worth of something in your house, that shit better be locked down by Fort Knox, like Fort Knox. You better have smash-proof windows.
Bro, a lot of these athletes and entertainers, they all do that. There's something about it.
$10,000 safe, $50,000 safe, something that's just like they would need it would be a heist. They would need a legitimate team to get in there.
$1 million is a heist. That's
a heist level. That's a heist level. Value. That's something a team would come together and go mission and pop, sliding from windows and breaking.
Exactly. Tom Cruise needs to star in the movie of Shannon Sharpe. They said that there was no signs of breaking and entering, which is the one that got me.
And that means that
it's somebody. It's
someone
that
new,
he knows.
or he's not locking his safe because isn't a sign of breaking and entering somebody blew open your safe? That's like the biggest sign of breaking and entering you can imagine.
Or even just to get into the house.
That's
I don't know where he lives. He probably lives on like some type of estate type. It's definitely gated. It's definitely gated, right? I would assume so.
I would assume so, yeah.
So they have the key to get in the gate. They have the key to get in the house. They know where they're going. They know where the safe is. They knew all that shit. That's a slap in the face.
If I ever got rich and I had shit in my house, no one would ever know. It would be so hidden in my house. And if you somehow got in there, there'd be hidden cameras and cameras. Safe would be in the wall. That shit's going to be either bolted down or in the wall. You're not getting that shit out of my house.
No, Indiana Jones booby traps.
It would literally have to be like CIA spy level heist to get in that house.
But I'm not having $1 million worth of jewelry, bro. That's just
never.
So dumb.
That's so stupid.
I feel like it's only. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's only the black community that does that.
I feel like because Paris Hilton got robbed for a lot of money. She had a whole bunch of jewelry in her house when the bling ring robbed her. So
That's true.
I don't think it's only just
Kim
us.
K too.
Yeah, but I think we definitely have a more of a not. I'd say our entertainers because there are plenty of wealthy black people that I even know who don't do that.
But even the people that aren't wealthy.
Yeah, people who don't, they flex a lot. They buy a lot of jewelry and ice when they can be buying stocks. Because I feel like it's, when you've been locked out and walled out and people say, you have all these opportunities. We fought for these opportunities to even be possible. But I'm not going to get too deep into that. But when you've been economically walled out for hundreds of years and you finally get a little bit of money, you don't know how to act. All these other groups, there's nobody actively trying to destroy them. There's nobody actively trying to stop them from getting loans and opening businesses and burning down their business and lynching them for daring to have a business. That creates a trauma, a generational trauma. So all of a sudden you get money and you looking around, or when we had the Freedmen's Bank and we were putting money in the bank right after slavery and the government was like, niggas banking? Hell no. And seized all that money. There's a certain level of like, I shouldn't have this. Oh my God, we shouldn't have this. I'm going to spend it right now so they can't. So I just have it tangibly. I think because like we blame it.
Oh, so it's like a
yeah,
fear.
It's like a fear because people always look at those degenerates and their jewelry, and they don't take into account the history
why
of
do
it.
They always go for the jewelry though. And worthless jewelry, like it'd be different if you had $1 million worth of gold.
It's flexing because like you don't have anything. I'm gonna let you know that I got money. For so long, I haven't been allowed to have any. But now that I have some, I'm a flex. Really believe that's what it is, and I'm also gonna spend it because I'm not gonna let somebody take it from me. I'm gonna get some value from it before you snatch it from me. That's generational trauma. People always say, "No, you blacks is just stupid and lazy and blah blah. You just don't know how to do anything." Not understanding that how many times we've been rug pulled and robbed, like in a crypto. That's just in our history. We've been rug pulled and robbed and stolen from.
Crypto,
you know how many times? Yeah, we've been rug pulled and robbed. Freedman's Bank. Even when the stock market crashed, a lot of us were putting our money in the bank, and when everybody got rug pulled, but that was a blow. I mean, especially to us because we were the poorest people in the country.
Yeah.
So that led to a whole bunch of black people just they don't trust banks because they're racist. They don't trust the Freedman's Bank because it was rug pulled and stolen from. Stock market crash. So that's talking for generations. You had so many black people just put their money in their mattress.
That's cool. That's true.
Yeah, because people don't trust the government. People don't trust these institutions. They don't care about us. So that's all.
You want to finish up with the Little Mermaid?
Yeah, let's finish with the Little Mermaid. Yeah,
because people are really saying that this is a 90% type movie. I have to call cap.
Yeah, right now, my friend sent us a post. He said over 100 reviews. I think it's a verified review. Someone made it very clear when I was doing research on it today that the reason why it has been review bombed on Rotten Tomatoes is right now. When I last checked it, it was sitting at 95% of verified reviews like the movie, and it was like thousands of people had confirmed. They linked their ticket to them seeing the movie. These are not just racist because people are saying the racists are going to review bomb it, which they've done on other sites that they can.
So it's going to be even harder in like when do they allow for everybody to review them? Like a couple weeks from now?
Probably a couple weeks from now or something like that.
It's going to be even harder to even be able to tell what the actual review is because people.
But these are not just critics. These are like people who went to see the movie. Because review bombers, it's just I hate N-words. Movie was garbage. Race swap. Movie was terrible. And they'll make 5 accounts and just do it. And then you have 5 people. And hundreds of people, hundreds of thousands of people making 10 accounts to do that. The whole movie has a 1-point rating. You know? Right. But these are people who they can verify actually went to see the movie. Said it was good. People said this is the best Disney live action. It was faithful to singing. They said Halle Bailey was singing her ass off.
We already know that's to be true.
We
already know she
came hard, was not playing games. That's what I've been hearing.
Pause.
But how's that pause? Oh my God.
But I just don't think that this movie is going to be that good. I have to call a cap. Because I was saying like at the maximum. Oh shit. Dropped my cup. At the maximum, it's just going to be as good as The Little Mermaid, like the animated.
People were saying it was faithful. It was literally just, as it should be, because that's
what these live actions are. Yeah. It's just they maybe change like a certain like character trope, maybe changes or something like that.
In this case, they mad about her skin color, but it's the same movie.
Right, exactly. And I thought that Prince Eric was Asian all this time. I just started seeing them on the press run, and he's a white guy. I thought he was an Asian guy. Wasn't he casted as an Asian guy?
I don't remember.
Maybe I'm thinking of another movie.
But
I don't think this is going to be the best one. I think Maleficent was the best one.
Yeah, Maleficent. But I don't think Maleficent counts because we're talking about the new era live actions. That's kind of started.
This is the new that started it.
But that came out when we were in like high school though.
That started it though. That was the first live action where they took the old legacy like Cinderellas and like all those old animated movies. That was the first one.
And they took real big liberties with Maleficent. It was like they did their own thing with that one. I don't know.
And I thought that they were going to continue with that. I think they did one with Cruella from 101 Dalmatians, which I didn't see.
I forgot that movie came. That movie came and went. Nobody even
So that was kind of like Maleficent, where they just focus on the villain. They've done so many of them.
I think a Princess Tiana one was
pretty garbage.
Fire. They all been pretty terrible.
They're doing a Princess and the Frog?
Well, that's what people are saying, that if they ever do one, they should be Coco Jones. I just saw that on Twitter the other day.
All of a sudden, bro,
she'll be
really
fired.
in love with Coco Jones again.
I think it's because of Bel Air. You'd be surprised. A decent amount of people, because it's getting season 3. I'm like, that's probably definitely one of the biggest shows on Peacock. Peacock really isn't that big of a streaming service, and that's like their biggest show. So.
I didn't know she was that famous, but I think these Disney Channel stars, people love them.
She's
they still hollering Zendaya.
I didn't really know who she was. I can remember her from Latest Shine a little bit, but I didn't really know who she was until Bel Air, and I was just like checking just in my glasses, like, God damn, what the fuck is that? It said she's Coco Jones. You don't remember her? I was like, oh, okay. So now I see her name all the time. Now I'm like, okay.
What did you think about the? Speaking of Halle Bailey, what did you think of the Color Purple trailer?
It was cool. I grew up. My dad loves The Color Purple.
Black people love The Color Purple.
My dad loves The Color Purple, and you
Which
know
is
what?
funny because like, is it even a black movie?
It is, but people don't like it because it's like a movie where it's like it just makes black men just seem like drunk women abusers. Like the whole movie is basically about like this pretty. I haven't seen it in years, but I'm pretty sure it's like this woman is like being abused by her husband, or I don't even really remember. I just know it was just some like crazy ass like psychotic like woman beating dude was like the villain of the movie or something like that. And a lot of people say it just makes black men look bad and it's like some coonery and don't watch it. But my dad and my parents, I don't know about my mom, but I do know my dad used to talk about that movie all the time.
Why do they keep remaking? Why are they remaking all of these old black movies? They did like White Man Can't Jump just came out.
I want to watch it. I just don't fuck with Jack Harlow, but I might watch it.
They did what'd they do? What was the last one they just did? The one that LeBron produced. I actually think
House Party. People are mad about that.
Yeah, they did House Party too.
Yeah, I watched that recently.
Why are they like? They're not good either. They're not good. They did Coming to America too.
I don't know. It's just like the whole thing of like in video games. Why they do so many remasters and remakes? It's just a check. They just want something they can kind of reasonably feel like makes money. But I think people are getting tired of it now. I don't
even think anybody's going to go see these movies.
No.
These movies aren't making money. These movies are coming straight to fucking streaming.
Straight to streaming, which is not necessarily a bad thing. As long as you get more people on the platform. If they can reasonably look at the statistics and saw who watched it, saw how many were new subscribers who watched it, who may have watched it they probably have the analytic data team to do all that. That's probably how they determine what gets more funding. So they probably don't even care.
The remakes are going too overboard.
But that's deep cuts. That's pretty much it when it comes to Little Mermaid.
Let's do it. All right. This was another episode of the Top Tier Podcast. Hopefully, you can tune in same place, same time next week for another episode. We will catch you next time.
Take it easy, y'all. Okay.